Welcome to First Steps in Mission, the show where we talk to a few young adults, finding out not only about their first steps in mission, but what they continue to do in mission today. And today we have Dan Jenkins from Amongst Wolves with us.
Hey.
How you doing, Dan?
Hey man, I'm all right, thanks. How are you?
I'm not too bad, Why don't you tell the people a little bit about you and what your band Amongst Wolves does?
My name's Dan, like Shola said. I'm in a band called Amongst Wolves. I'm the lead singer and music producer for the band. And we're kind of like a pop rock thing. I don't really know what we are. I know that's the thing that people in bands say all the time to make them sound cool, but I genuinely have no idea. We just like to make good music. We like to use it as a platform to engage with young people, to share our faith. And we go into schools to do like PSHE lessons on stuff like identity, mental health and resilience. And we use that as a platform to engage with young people.
That's so cool.
The faith we found in Jesus.
So cool. And have you always wanted to be in a band? Have you always been in a band, or how did you end up being in Amongst Wolves?
Yeah, you know what? I've wanted to be in a band my entire life.
Okay.
I wanted to front a band, wanted to be the singer, wanted to like be on stage and like engage with an audience, all this stuff. It's something I wanted my whole life. But the way I ended up in Amongst Wolves is actually quite a funny story. So I came on Message Academy here at the Message Trust a number of years ago. I got trained up in like youth work and evangelism, but I knew that at the end of academy I was going off to uni to study music technology. So I went off, I did 4 years at university studying like music production and audio engineering and all that good stuff. But as part of my course, I came and did 6 months back here, ended up back here.
Nice.
Working in the studio as a music producer. And during that time, Amongst Wolves had kind of just started as a band. They had a different singer at the time. And I got chummy with them, and we used to joke about like me joining the band and me taking over the band and renaming it Amongst Dan Jenkins or something.
Okay.
We used to joke about it all the time.
Full takeover.
Yeah, full takeover. Anyway, I went back to uni, I did my final year at uni, and it was coming up to the end of my degree, and it was looking like I was gonna be like a freelance music producer and mix engineer. And I remember praying one time, I remember just like sitting in my bedroom and talking to God and just saying, you know, I've wanted to be in a band my whole life, but it looks like that's not gonna happen. It looks like I'm gonna go do this other thing that I also really love, and that's cool. And I felt like I had to just pray, whatever it is you want me to do, God, like I'm in.
It's a good prayer.
I'm down. It is a good prayer, but it was hard because it was hard because I had to like acknowledge that little kid like dream that I've had my whole life. I had to like put it down. I had to offer it up to God and say, if you don't want me to be in a band, I don't want to be in a band. And the very next day, I get a phone call from Tim Owen, a guy that works here who puts together bands at the Message. And he said, the lead singer from Amongst Wolves is leaving. Would you be interested? The very next day, and I was like, yeah, let me go. I did the holy thing. I was like, let me go away and pray about it for a few weeks. I'll let you know. But inside I was like, yes, I'm so down.
That's quick. That's good. That's so cool. So you are in the band now.
Yeah.
And you're making music to go into schools, as you said. Talk to us about that.
Yeah. So our goal really, like we're rock musicians and we love making music. We love playing gigs and all that good stuff. But our goal really is to use the music as a platform to engage with young people about the faith and the hope that we found in Jesus. So I sometimes joke, or it's half serious as well, that my goal when writing music is to just take a Bible verse and make it the catchiest like earworm hook you could imagine. But that's what we do. For us, it's why we do what we do. If we were just in it for the music, we wouldn't be in it. Like I prayed, if it was just for my own sake, I wouldn't be here. So.
And how do you make that different to not doing it for yourself, but actually doing it for God and with God? How does that happen? Does it just happen overnight, or are you intentional about it?
It's an ongoing process, isn't it? Because as a creative person, it can be so easy for the creative process, like songwriting, to become about your own expression and your own like catharsis or whatever the word is. It can become about just expressing yourself, and that's the be all and end all. That's not wrong. And actually, as a Christian, I believe that if I do that in my music, that people will see God in that. And I do that outside of Amongst Wolves. I do that in my own time. That's how I write. I'm like, actually, people are going to see my life, but because it's saturated with Christ, they're going to see Christ.
That's cool.
But specifically for Amongst Wolves, it has to be not just about me and what I want to say. It has to be like, God, what do you want to say? if we go into school today and there's a young person there who's going to hear us play some music, what is it that you want to say to them? I want to put that in a song.
Yep.
If a young person who wasn't going to come to the gig, but their friends dragged them along, they come to the gig and they pay attention for one line. God, what do you want that line to be?
That's so cool. Good, good. Let's take a little step back. So you do Academy. Talk to me about how you came about doing Academy.
Yeah, that's another funny story. I knew I was going to uni. I had this course kind of lined up, but I also knew I wanted to do a gap year. I wanted to take a year out. I've been a Christian most of my life. I've grown up knowing that, and I made that decision for myself growing up. But I knew I needed like a year to kind of get my head straight after sixth form. And to be honest, I'm glad I did. I don't know how uni would have gone if I hadn't done that. So I knew I wanted to do something. I wanted to take a year out before jumping straight back onto the education wagon. And so my youth leader at the time was trying to help me figure something out, trying to help me find a gap year program. And I've been chatting to him about stuff, and he'd shown me some stuff, and I was like, oh yeah, maybe, I don't know, like teenagers do. And then one day he gives me a phone call and he says, Dan, there's this open day in 2 days in Manchester for this thing called Message Academy. Go or I will kick you, were his exact words. So I was like, sounds like I better go then. So I get on a train, I come up to the open day. I'm looking around, I'm like, hey, I kind of like this place. It feels like there's a load of people having ADHD for Jesus, which is exactly what I'm about. So I think I'd fit in here. It's like music related, that's really cool. I ended up filling out an application form on the day. They gave me an interview on the day.
Quick turnaround.
All happened super quick.
Okay.
I was like, I don't even know if I want to do this, but I may as well, while I'm here, just do the interview. So I filled out the application form, had an interview, and then like the next week, gave me a phone call and was like, want to offer you a place? I was like, cool, like, okay, why not? And to be honest, when I rocked up, I didn't feel like I really knew what I was doing. I remember in one of the first weeks, Andy Hawthorne, guy that runs the Message, where the Academy is, came and did a teaching session with us and said, you're all here because you're passionate young evangelists. I was like, don't know if I am. I don't think I am an evangelist. I don't know if I'm passionate about evangelism, but I grew to eat those words.
Good.
The year that followed that, it's not an exaggeration, but it totally changed my life. It changed my outlook on what it meant to follow Jesus. It gave me a passion and a heart for evangelism. I learned that telling people the gospel, it's like spreading the good news about Jesus' death and resurrection and the coming of God's kingdom, is an essential intrinsic part of following Jesus. It's not just something those wacky people do who are on the fringes of the church and they all go out into the street and do. It's part of following Jesus. We're all called to, in some way or another, tell the gospel.
Yep.
Take the good news to the ends of the earth. And Academy gave me that. And then going off into uni and doing 4 years at uni after that, it was totally different. I was like, cool, I'm here to do my course, but this is now an opportunity. I saw it as like a mission field. And even now, coming back into Wolves, it's the reason I'm in amongst Wolves. The reason I'm in the band is because I want to share the gospel. So I don't just want to do music for its own sake. I want to share the gospel with people.
That's so cool. And was there like a specific moment on Academy that was like, it's now clicked, why I'm here, what my kind of purpose is? And as you said, my faith, how sharing the gospel was intrinsic to my faith. Yeah. Was there a specific teaching or specific moment, or was it just throughout the whole year, gradual process?
You know what, it wasn't one moment. I felt like Academy systematically destroyed a lot of things that I thought and a lot of things I believed in order for me to be built back up again.
Okay.
And one of those things was that I needed some big glorious moment, some crazy big encounter to be set on fire, because that's just what I wanted. I was like, God, I believe in you, but I want you just to come and just like give me all these like prophecies for people all the time and just like set me on fire, make me super passionate all the time. And one of the things I felt like God had to deconstruct in me was the idea that one crazy flash in the pan moment was going to change my life. Actually, what Academy ended up being was journeying with other people, also learning how to share the gospel, being taught by people who are good at sharing the gospel and who are journeying that in themselves. And for me, it was actually just the time and the space to figure out what was important to me, figure out what should be important to me, and how that changes my life. I think over the course of the year, my thinking completely changed. But it wasn't a single moment, and I think that was probably the point.
That's cool. That's cool. So you go through the year, you already knew you were going to uni, which you go on and do, but you look at uni in a different perspective. As you said, you see it now as a mission field. How, like, was there some occasions where you actually were out on a mission field in uni? Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, well, as part of the CU and as helping run the CU, we put on specific events. But to be honest, I found that the biggest changes, the biggest stories just came from getting alongside people and knowing people. And there are a couple of people that I met at uni who are now Christians, who now follow Jesus.
That's cool.
Not because of me, because of what God did through me, but it was from having a relationship with them, from knowing them. This one guy that it took about half a year of him just asking me every question he could, and again and again and again, before he was finally like, you know what, I still don't know, but I'm just going to give it a go. And 4 or 5 years on now, he's still a Christian.
That's so cool. That's so cool. So, academy, university, amongst wolves, in school on a regular day-to-day basis when you can.
Yeah.
Obviously, we can't do that at this moment in time in the pandemic. So how has things looked like for amongst wolves in this season? What you guys been doing?
Well, I mean, our job totally changed. We can't go into schools, like you say, we can't do gigs. And so we have been hustling real hard to try and do this YouTube thing. Probably something we should have been doing beforehand, to be honest. But for the last year, we've been making YouTube videos, like fun stuff, some serious stuff, all over the place, really. But all of it, we've tried to put in that message of hope in Jesus. We've tried to put the gospel in some way or another. And it's ranged from like, doing really stupid videos. We had one video where we tried to break 100 world records. Really, really stupid stuff. But in the middle, we just put a little like, you know you're loved by God that made you message. To more serious stuff, we released a song at the start of 2021 all about suicide. And we ran a whole campaign around that, and that took over our YouTube for a bit, a whole campaign about, it was called #ChoosToLive, about making the choice to live even on the darkest days, even when you don't know why you should, just choosing to hang on another day.
And we've got a few clips that actually Dan mentioned. So we've got a clip of the 100 world record. So let's take a look at that now and see a bit of fun with Amongst Wolves.
This is the craziest video we have ever done. So strap on your Crocs and get comfy. This is Amongst Wolves breaks 100 freaking world records. Yeah. So you may be wondering, how on earth are we going to break 100 world records?
Yeah, we're all untalented losers.
You see, I found a loophole in the system. I went on the official Guinness World Record website and I found 100 world records that have never even been set. So instead of breaking 100 world records, we just have to do the bare minimum to set them. Here we go.
So as you can see there, Amongst Wolves having a little bit of fun.
Such a stupid video, man.
Did you manage to break the 100 world records?
Yeah, I mean, it was a little bit of a loophole, like I said in the video. We were more setting records that were in the system but didn't have a record. So some of them, it was a little bit cheeky. And even some of those, I don't think we probably did them properly. But there were some records I think we legitimately now hold. Not been able to get them verified yet, but hoping to. Like we broke the world records, broke an actual existing world record for the most number of memes in a music video.
That's cool.
So in theory, we now hold that record, yet to get the plaque.
Okay.
That'd be nice.
But soon. And as you said, in the videos, you do a little bit of God content. You do some evangelism in some shape.
Yeah. So there was one record that was like I think it was the longest, fastest time to build a 2-meter drawbridge team of 2. It was a really random record.
Okay.
We thought it's really boring to watch. So actually, while Andy and Clay are building the bridge in the background, why don't me and Mark just get in front of the camera and say, you know what, you're loved. Like, God made you. He thinks you're amazing. There's a plan and a purpose for your life. Think about that. And by the time we'd done that, they'd finished.
They'd done it. That's so cool. And as you said early on, you helped write and produce some of the music within Amongst Wolves. And again, you've done some funny stuff on the YouTube. There was a SpongeBob clip, is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah? Let's have a look at the SpongeBob clip and see Dan messing about in the studio.
They have 3 seasons on here. SpongeBob SquarePants. Basically, we're going to start off reasonably normal, just like, it's a rock cover. SpongeBob SquarePants. And then it's just going to get horrible and genty and nasty towards the end.
A few moments later.
Do you want to explain that to us?
I don't think, can anyone explain that?
What was that about? How did that come about?
I think we wanted to do more music-based content on, like, we're a band, that's like our strength, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that was the best we came up with. Let's do a SpongeBob metal cover. If you want to see the full thing, it's on our YouTube, type in Amongst Wolves. I go on to then perform a really genty metal cover of the SpongeBob theme tune. It was one of the weirdest days I've ever done, but it
Very nice.
didn't feel real.
Okay, it's all right. Some days are like that, but then there are some serious days when you're in studio, and you've already mentioned it, the Choose to Live campaign.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that, because that was, for me anyway, that was a really special moment within the year.
Yeah.
And actually I feel shows what Amongst Wolves and what we here at The Message are really about. How did that all come about? Not just the music, but also a campaign behind it as well. Talk to us.
Well, in Amongst Wolves, we've always been passionate about seeing, obviously passionate about sharing the gospel, but specifically seeing the gospel impact people struggling with their mental health. That's something we all feel called to, like, speak into and reach out to those kind of people. And there's one particular young person that we know just from working with her a number of times that towards the end of 2020, she dropped us a message just to say, can't remember the exact words, but it was something along the lines of, some days I feel like the only place I belong is in the ground. And that was obviously a difficult message to read, because we know that God made her and loves her and has a plan for her life, and that she's worth so much more than just taking her own life. So that's quite upsetting. And then a number of weeks later, I was listening to one of my favourite bands. Actually, they dropped an album. I'm not going to at them in this video, but they dropped an album, and it's musically amazing. But I was listening to the lyrics, and I was like, this is almost pro-suicide. Like, they're not actively encouraging anyone to take their own life, but they seem to, at least in their own expression of how they feel, raise up suicide as the way out, raise it up as like the best option or the only option sometimes. And I got quite cross, because this is an amazing band with a huge platform, and they were saying, maybe I should just kill myself. And I'm like, how many people are hearing that message and thinking that when they're low, that's the only way out? And so went and wrote Voices, which is all about suicide. And what it is really that the song is a tension between two things. On the one hand, you have the reality of struggling with suicidal thoughts. It doesn't undermine that. It doesn't shy from that. It's like, this stuff is real. People struggle with this stuff, and you can't just wish it away. But on the other hand, here's the truth of what God says about me.
Good.
And we actually wrote the song from the perspective of that young person that messaged us as a declaration of truth over herself.
That's so cool.
To be honest, the best way I can sum up the song is the lyrics in the chorus, where it says, all of these voices inside my head, sometimes they tell me I'm better off dead, but I know the truth and I feel it in my chest, so I choose to live and I won't fear death. And I think as soon as I played the demo to the rest of the band, we all just had this moment where we were like, oh, that's heavy. People need to hear this.
It is so deep. Like, I love the song, but as I said, I think I love the campaign behind it probably even more. I think for what we do here at The Message, I think it was really innovative. And I think a lot of bands and other teams are thinking about doing stuff like that. So yeah, why don't we check out the Choose to Live campaign video right now.
All of these voices inside my head, sometimes they tell me I'm better off dead, but I know the truth, feel it in my chest, so I choose to live and I won't fear death.
Around 800,000 people take their own life every single year. It's the third leading cause of death in 15 to 19-year-olds, and it affects families, communities, and entire countries all around the world. This absolutely breaks my heart. No one should ever feel like the only choice in life is to choose death. And so we decided to do something about it. Our song Voices is coming out tomorrow, and it's all about making the choice to hold on to life even on the darkest days, because there is a reason to have hope. As Christians, we believe that hope is Jesus. He was God in human form, and he knew what it meant to suffer. But as God, he has the capacity to care more than anybody else, and he cares for you. He hears your cries for help. Jesus himself says, in this world, you will have trouble. But he goes on to say, but don't fear, for I have overcome the world. We believe that there is no one so messed up or so broken that they are beyond saving. You are not beyond saving, so please choose to live. But this isn't just about a song. Actually, you could help save someone's life as well. So we started the hashtag #ChooseToLive, and here's what you need to do. Number 1, think. If you could say one sentence to someone who's thinking about taking their own life, what would you say? Write it on a note, post it on Insta, #ChooseToLive. Number 2, message 3 friends to check in on them and see how they're doing today. Just let them know that you're there for them if they ever want to talk. And number 3, if you're having suicidal thoughts or if you're struggling with your mental health, then please reach out to someone. Check out the links in the description below. And please choose to live.
Choose to live.
Choose to live. Choose to live.
Wow, that's so powerful. It still gets me even today. So obviously that was earlier on in the year. Can we still jump on the campaign, or how does it all work?
Yeah. So there's no end to it. We're encouraging people to continue posting messages of hope. Actually, a couple of weeks after we started it, we took a load of the messages that people had written. We wrote them out on notes, and we went and tied them around bridges near where each of us lived. We were in lockdown at the time, so we couldn't all come together. But that's something you can still get involved in. The main thing is to make sure that you're reaching out if you need help. There's no shame in saying you're struggling with your mental health or you're feeling suicidal. There's no shame in going to the doctor and getting some help. And also reaching out and being there for your friends. You don't know what someone's going through. Sometimes they don't tell you because they're embarrassed or they're ashamed. So that was why one of the steps on the campaign was reach out to 3 friends and tell them that you're always there.
So good. You can do that today. Get on that. Reach out to 3 friends. So Dan, you've mentioned a little bit about what's coming out of lockdown for you guys as Amongst Wolves. Can you give us a bit more? Are we getting more music? We get more SpongeBob, more campaigns? What are we doing? What's the vibe?
Do you want more SpongeBob? An official request from Charlotte.
If that's going to happen, make it happen. SpongeBob Part 2.
SpongeBob Part 2.
What is happening
Cool.
with Amongst Wolves?
I mean, we're hoping to get back to doing stuff in person.
Okay.
Obviously, kind of lockdown willing, as lockdown lifts, we're looking to get back into school, kind of seeing young people there face to face, and also doing gigs and preaching the gospel at gigs. Something we're really hoping to do. But we have big plans for music releases over the next year and a bit. See if we can pull it off.
So there is going to be more music.
There's going to be a lot more music.
That's so good.
More than we've been doing. And hopefully loads of music videos as well.
That's so good.
Yeah.
That's so good. How can people follow you?
Yeah, well, you can find us on Instagram at We Are Amongst Wolves. We're on Facebook and Twitter too, but no one uses them. And we're on YouTube. If you punch in Amongst Wolves, you'll find us.
Great. And last question, if you were gonna give some advice like your youth worker gave to you about maybe spending a year with God, what would you say to a young person thinking about taking their first steps in mission? Maybe you combining mission and music, what would you say to someone?
Yeah. Like I said, my time on Academy changed my life. And everyone's experience of Academy, I think, will be different. But why not give it a go? Like, I didn't know what I was doing there when I rocked up. I didn't really know why I was there, and God used it to change my life. I think wherever you're at, whether it's Academy or not, lay it down before God and say, God, what do you want me to do? And if you're interested in being equipped in like youth work and evangelism, following the call of the evangelist, then I can 100% recommend Academy from my experience.
That's so cool. Thank you so much. Guys, thank you so much for watching First Steps in Mission. Please do follow Amongst Wolves. Look out for their music. Join in on the campaign, and we'll see you next time for First Steps in Mission.
You've been watching Message Live.
And we hope it's been a great encouragement to you.
Would you subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook,
and ring that bell for notifications.
And thanks for watching.